You're listening to Dakota Spotlight. My name is James Woolner. Welcome back to Season 11, Homicide at House of Bottles. This is Episode 3. If you've not listened to Episodes 1 and 2, you'll want to start there first. In Bismarck, North Dakota, the police department faced a chilling homicide. 25-year-old Robbie Rahrich was murdered while tallying the cash register after closing the House of Bottles liquor store. The crime felt senseless and tragic. Robbie left behind a fiancée, family, and friends, with evidence suggesting he may have never known he was in danger, possibly shot from behind in a moment of unsuspecting vulnerability. The case left investigators with a mountain of questions, but also they had a clear plan of action. Their steps were many and methodical. Compile a list of all employees of the House of Bottles, both current and former. Conduct a thorough autopsy to uncover any additional evidence. Canvass the neighborhood for potential witnesses who might have seen or heard something. Track down customers who had been in the store on Saturday. Analyze that bullet slug recovered from the wall for forensic clues. And keep searching the store for the missing shell casing. And there was one other thing they were going to do right away. Here is retired Lieutenant Bob Haas again.
One of the things that we do is we set up a tip line, and we have somebody that's just manning that phone and taking down tips. And some of that stuff is people calling in and saying, I'm not sure and I can't say for certainty that this person did it, but this is something that he would do. Or he was talking about, he needed money and he was hurting for money and yeah, I won't say that he did it, but I'm pretty sure that he did. So we would go and investigate those types of things in addition to talking to the employees.
But even before the phone line was up and running, they got a hot tip. In fact, it felt scorching hot. Late Sunday night, just a day after the murders, two 19-year-olds from Mandan named Reggie Bunnell and Justin Hayter had walked into the Bismarck Police Department with a story that demanded attention. In the early hours of Sunday morning, they'd been just aimlessly driving around central Bismarck when a police car sped past them, lights blazing. Moments later, a second car followed. Curious and a little bit bored, the friends decided to see where the action was headed. The patrol cars led them north, up State Street, past the Capitol building, over the interstate, beyond Kmart, right on East Century, and eventually to the House of Bottles liquor store at the intersection with 19th Street. As they slowly drove by, they saw those first responding patrol cars pulling in, joining a third car at the scene. Wonder what that's all about, they thought, watching the officers exit their squad cars and move into action. With their curiosity somewhat satisfied, Justin turned right onto 19th Street to leave. Within seconds, Reggie snapped to attention in the passenger seat. He saw a man suspiciously crouching beneath an evergreen tree by the side of the road. Hey, check it out, Reggie said, pointing. A guy hiding behind a tree. Come on, let's turn around. Justin drove another half block and then somewhat reluctantly whipped the car around and headed back north again. Justin saw the man now too. He was no longer hiding, but running, jogging across the street towards the east side of 19th Street, headed towards Shiloh School. They couldn't get a good look at him as they drove past. More intrigued now than ever, they drove back to the House of Bottles where they looped around the block one more time. As they were making a second pass by the store, another cop car and ambulance arrived. Like a deja vu moment, Justin turned right onto 19th Street for the second time in 5 minutes. They spotted the man again, headed south along the sidewalk. He was still walking quickly and occasionally jogging, headed towards the interstate overpass and central Bismarck beyond. This time, they decided to tail him from a safe distance. Over the next few minutes, the man crossed over the interstate and kept moving southward until finally he arrived at a mini-mart. Justin pulled up nearby, and that's when they finally got a good look at the man. He appeared to be Latino or Native American, about 5 feet 10 inches tall, with a goatee. He was dressed entirely in black. There was white lettering printed across the back of his jacket, FUBU, FUBU. Reggie and Justin considered going straight to the House of Bottles to tell the cops about this FUBU man. They talked it over and then decided against it. They figured the police were busy, didn't want to get in the way of an investigation. Instead, they drove home to Mandan, assuming it wasn't their place to intervene. By the next evening, however, news of a murder at the House of Bottles changed everything. Realizing the importance of what they witnessed, they went to the station and shared their story. Bismarck PD wasted no time issuing an urgent alert for the man in the FUBU jacket. Every patrolman in the city kept their eyes peeled. At the Bismarck police station, Detective Steve Lundeen sat at his desk, armed with a sharp pencil and even sharper focus. His eyes were carefully scanning a 2-page computer printout of names, addresses, and phone numbers. He read each name, taking special notice of any handwritten notes jotted next to them. Let go for inappropriate performance. Fired due to possible theft. Let go. Inappropriate performance. Lundeen had been given the assignment of identifying, locating, and speaking with the employees of the House of Bottles. His first call had been to the store's owner, a man named Chad Wachter. Lundeen asked Wachter for a list of employees, both past and present, and let us know if any of them were fired or let go, or might have made threats or held any grudge towards you, or towards Robbie Rahrich. Chad Wachter promptly provided Lundeen with a thorough list, covering both the House of Bottles North, where the murder occurred, and the recently closed South store, where 6 employees had been laid off. Chad Wachter came from a family rooted in the Bismarck business scene. His parents were property and business owners operating gas station convenience stores in the area, including Home Run C store where Travis Bitts worked. The previous summer, the Wachters had unintentionally, at least by their account, sparked a gas pricing war in Bismarck by dropping the price at one of their gas stations to 99 cents. The move angered many competitors who were frustrated by the aggressive pricing and the ripple effect it caused throughout the local market. Chad Wachter's closure of the House of Bottles South had become a source of local controversy in the weeks leading up to the murder. The Bismarck Tribune covered the closure extensively, detailing how a zoning change had forced Wachter's hand. The South store, originally located on county property, was annexed to the city of Bismarck at midnight on January 1st, 1999. With the change came new liquor licensing requirements, but the city had already allocated all 20 of its licenses, leaving Chad Wachter unable to secure one for his South location. As a result, he was forced to close the store and lay off 6 employees. For investigators, this situation presented an easy line of inquiry: resentment. A disgruntled former employee could have harbored a grudge over losing his job, seeking to damage the Wachter family. But this tension surrounding Wachter's South store extended beyond the staff. Wachter's South store had long frustrated competitors in Bismarck's liquor market. When he opened the South store, its location just outside of city limits allowed him to bypass a hefty $60,000 city liquor license fee, paying only $600 for a county license. This move enraged rival store owners, who saw it as unfair competition. Adding fuel to the fire, Wachter's store could remain open on Sundays, a privilege the city stores, just a stone's throw away, couldn't enjoy under Bismarck's laws. The Tribune had extensively covered these issues in 1998 and early 1999. Between the licensing controversy, Sunday sales, and his parents' infamous gas wars, it's likely that some in the community celebrated when Wachter lost his liquor license and was forced to close the store. For investigators, the possibility of someone harboring deep-seated grudges against the Wachters wasn't far-fetched. As they probed the murder, they had to consider whether someone in Bismarck had acted on those grievances, targeting the family or their businesses in a deadly way. But it wasn't Chad Wachter's body undergoing an autopsy at Dr. Meisel's office, it was Robbie Rahrich. And Robbie had nothing to do with store closings, city zoning ordinances, or Sunday alcohol sales. This case didn't really appear to be about business rivalries or a liquor store war. Still, detectives couldn't rule anything out. It was entirely possible that a current or former colleague or even a disgruntled customer had a personal grievance or history with Robbie that had taken a deadly turn. Detective Lundeen tapped the pencil eraser rhythmically against the desk for a moment and scanned the printouts in front of him one last time. Might as well start at the top, he thought. He picked up the receiver and began to dial. In their search for witnesses, investigators were determined to find anyone who'd been inside the House of Bottles on Saturday night. With no working surveillance cameras and most customers paying in cash, the majority of patrons remained nameless and anonymous unless they chose to come forward themselves. Fortunately, investigators had one small advantage: a stack of personal checks. Each check listed a name, address, and phone number, a little goldmine of leads, almost too easy. Armed with this information, they picked up the phone and started dialing. Dwayne Johnson of Bismarck spent $11.87 at the House of Bottles. Tim or Kathy Zander wrote a check for $28.68. Joey Soon spent $8.63. Charlie Monson of Newtown, $11. They called every name on the list, noting details and leaving no stone unturned. When nobody answered, they called again and again. They kept notes of every attempt, every conversation, every dead end. Gary Becker spent $14.97. Heather Jorgensen of Minot, $9.70. When someone finally answered, the detectives probed. What time were you at the store? Did you notice anything? See anyone unusual? Hear anything strange? Do you remember the clerk? Did he seem nervous? Was there anything that stood out at all? The Bismarck PD's tip line for information on the murder at the House of Bottles was bearing fruit. A steady stream of calls were coming in. Some tips seemed ripe with potential, others seemed a little dubious. Here is former Bismarck PD Detective Lloyd Hollerson again.
There were a number of people who came forward with things that they had heard or things that they had seen, or somebody in the neighborhood that they were concerned about or thought might be capable of doing something like this. And we followed up on a number of those things, invited people down to the station, interviewed them, talked to them.
One tip came in from Mandan across the river. There'd been a fight at a bar there. A drunken patron at the Silver Dollar had loudly claimed to know who killed that liquor store clerk, but swore he wasn't going to go to the cops because the killers were friends of his. The bartender was unimpressed and challenged him to do the right thing, report what he knew. The drunkard took a swing at the bartender. When Mandan officers interviewed him, the bartender confirmed the story, but admitted he didn't know the guy's name. He promised to call the cops if he saw him again. Another tip, Detective Syseski pursued a lead about some road rage. Someone pulled a gun on a motorist north of town late Saturday night. A woman named Ivy walked into Bismarck PD and told Detective Shaner that there were 3 guys in town from Washington bragging that they had done the murder. And the tips kept coming. Someone saw a suspicious car. It was a candy apple, very nice red Grand Prix. Another caller phoned in and said she knew someone who used to work at McDonald's in Mandan who might be capable of something like this. He used to steal food at work. Another lead they were following up on was that story about the folks over there at 3001 Ohio Street, apartment 10. They had had a little gathering over there Saturday night, just around the corner from the crime scene. When 2 of them, a couple of guys named Steve Kraft and Russell Zins, returned from a beer run at the House of Bottles, they had a 3rd person with him, a guy named Shawn who had left on foot around 12:30. All 3 of the men had talked to Robbie at the store, shooting the shit, chewing the cud, bullshitting. They got their marching orders: find Steve Kraft, find Russell Zins, and find the man named Shawn. But before they could even go looking for Stephen Kraft, he made his own way to the police station voluntarily. He was worried. On their beer run, his pickup truck had been parked there outside the House of Bottles until 12:15, and he feared he might be considered a suspect. Sitting down with detectives, Kraft explained his movements and interactions that evening. "So this guy, Shawn," the detective asked, "what's his last name?" Stephen Kraft said, "Helmenstein. Shawn Helmenstein. He used to work at the House of Bottles South before it got closed down." And sure enough, when they cross-referenced this, there was a Shawn Helmenstein on their radar of former employees at the House of Bottles South. When they looked at their list, he hadn't been spoken with yet. "Do you know where Shawn lives?" the detective asked Steve Kraft. "No idea," Steve said. "But I had a friend tell him to call me on Sunday night, and he did call me. I told Shawn we should come down here and tell you that we had talked to Robbie that night." "And how did he respond to that?" the cop asked him. "He said we should wait for you to come to us. I thought about it a bit and realized that's stupid, so here I am. But no, I don't have any idea where he lives." Chad Wachter, the owner of House of Bottles, had been thinking about things and hearing things from his employees. He returned to the police department and told them he wanted to tell them something. He thought they should look into a guy named Shawn Helmenstein, his former employee. Here is Lloyd Halverson again.
I was assigned by Lieutenant Heinley to locate Shawn Helmenstein. Information was from the owners that Helmenstein needed money, that he had asked to borrow money from the owner or a payroll advance of some kind for about $1,500 because he needed a new transmission. And during my follow-up conversations with the owner, he stated he didn't think that Robbie and Shawn got along. He was getting some information from some of his employees and some friends of Shawn's that he could very well be involved. And so I got the task of trying to find him.
Detective Halverson soon learned that Shawn Helmenstein had in fact been staying with Travis Bitts, the very same man who had found the victim and reported the crime. This connection raised immediate red flags, but when they spoke to Bitts about it, he clarified the situation a little. "Shawn was staying with me," Travis explained, "but he wasn't living with me. He's been trying to get to Montana for a while now. A few weeks ago he was on his way, but his truck transmission went out. It's fixed now, but he doesn't have the $1,500 to pay for it. After the murder, I had enough of him and I told him he had to get out by Sunday night. I kicked him out." "Did Shawn have any guns?" they asked Travis. "Oh yeah," Travis said. "His babies. He had a rifle and a pistol." "Do you have a phone number for him?" "No, but I have his pager number."
And I started calling and leaving my number on this pager. And eventually he called while we were in a meeting, an investigative briefing, and Sergeant Wooten returned that call and conducted a phone interview.
Hello.
Hi, is this Shawn?
Yeah.
How you doing? My name is Fred Wooten. I'm at the Bismarck Police Department.
Yeah, hold on 1 second. Let me go. Okay, yeah.
Okay. Are you where you can talk?
What?
Are you where you can talk? Are you? Am I interrupting anything?
No, I was working, but no problem.
Okay. This weekend we had a incident happen at the bottle shop up at the House of Bottles up in North Bismarck.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Okay. And we are trying to talk to all the former employees and present employees and anybody that might, know a little bit about what had gone on. And we understand that you had worked at the House of Bottles South here.
Yeah, I used to work down there.
Okay. What did you know? You said you'd heard about this. What did you heard about it?
Basically what Travis told me, Travis Bitts, because I was staying with him till I was waiting for some, my friend to send me some money because I'm over here working in Missoula.
Okay. Now, what did Travis tell you?
That the place got robbed and Rob got shot or something.
Okay. Do you know who Rob is, or?
Yeah, he used to work down at House of Bottle South.
Okay. You're in Montana then, correct?
Yeah.
I understand Missoula. Okay, were you in town over the weekend, or?
Yeah, I didn't leave till Monday morning.
Okay. You were around town then on, Sunday night then for sure, then, if you leave?
Yeah, I was around Sunday night.
Okay. Did you see any of the, you talk about Travis or Rob, did you see any of those during Saturday night and Sunday morning?
Yeah, I stayed at Travis the Saturday night.
Okay, you did. Okay. Well, when did you move to Bismarck? Did you live here a long time, right?
Oh, I moved there, it was a year in February.
A year in February. Okay.
Yeah.
And you've been here pretty much all the time then?
Yeah, I live there most of the time.
All right. Well, I don't want to take up much of your time because I know you're on a cell phone, but is there a place where we could talk to you later, maybe if we needed to?
This is the only phone that we got.
Okay. So you're on a job site somewhere? Or?
Yeah.
Okay. What type of job are you doing out there?
I'm doing drywall right now.
Drywall. Okay. Are you staying at a motel or are you staying
No,
at
I'm staying with a buddy of mine, but he hasn't got his phone hooked up yet.
Okay. So if I need to get a hold of you, how would I do that?
Just page me with the pager number you have, and I can get back to you as soon as possible.
Okay. How long are you staying out there?
I'm going to be out here for probably a couple months, and I have to come back because I do a sprinkler system crew in Bismarck.
Oh, okay. Who do you do that with?
I do it for Water World Sprinkler System.
Water World. Okay. Okay. How'd you get out to Missoula? Did you?
My buddy sent me some money and ended up taking a bus because my I was supposed to leave a few weeks ago, but my transmission went out on my truck, and I haven't got the cash to get my truck fixed.
Oh, okay. That's sort of a bad deal, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
you're drywalling right now?
Yeah, I'm drywalling right now for about another 4 or 5 days, and we're going to start. We have to put a new roof on a community center.
Okay. What time did the House of Bottles? Did that you left down there in what, December, late December? Or?
When?
When did you lose the job? I understand you worked down there.
Oh, yeah. I got laid off the first of the year.
First year, okay. What did you do then? Did you have another job back here then, or?
I was supposed to leave the end of January to come out to Missoula, and I was still working at Shades of Time then.
Oh, okay.
Then that incident happened, and so I was laid off there. I didn't work for a couple of weeks.
Oh, okay. But Shades of Time, that's what? Who runs that?
Terry Barnes.
Terry Barnes, okay. Then that, he was at the Hotel Bismarck or something?
Yeah, it was at Hotel Bismarck, then they had a little conference, so he had to move it over to the basement of Castillo's.
Oh, okay. And did you work over there then, or?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, okay.
Because I was leaving right before they moved over there, and I got so far, and then my transmission went out in Beach, North Dakota.
Oh, okay. So now you were, you were at Travis's house in for a few days or weeks?
Yeah, I stayed with Travis for a few weeks, or a couple of weeks or something like that.
Okay. And then what happened there then? You said that you spent, Saturday night there?
Yeah, I spent Saturday night there and over at a friend's Sunday night.
Okay, you stayed at a friend's house Sunday night?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. How'd you get out to the bus station? Did somebody drive you out there? Or?
I was using my company truck that I use during the summertime.
Oh, okay. And where did you leave that truck out there then, or?
What was that?
Did you leave the truck out to the bus station, or?
No, I didn't. I left it over at a place, and I got a hold of my boss, and he was supposed to go pick it up.
Oh, okay. I guess I don't want to take up a lot of your time here, but now, a couple questions about Robbie. You said you knew Rob or knew him a little bit?
Yeah, I knew him pretty well.
Okay. Do you know if he had any enemies or anybody that would want to hurt him?
I didn't know him that well. I just knew him from work, basically. I never really went out with him or nothing.
Okay. We'd heard some people talking also about the walkers. Occasionally, they would give a threat or something. You know anything about that?
About what?
Occasionally, someone would threaten the walkers.
All I know is from earlier this summer is when they were having the gas wars and everything.
Oh.
And I just heard word of mouth that they were getting like threats or something like that, but I didn't know much about that.
Okay. Can you think of anything I should know about this? Or any, since you worked in that situation, I'm sure you knew some of the people in and out, and you probably know some of the hazards associated with
Yeah, not really right offhand.
Okay. Now, see, you said you were in town. You stayed at Travis's house Saturday night. Okay.
Yeah.
You were there all night then, or?
I was at the bar till I was over at the Lonesome Dove, and after that closed, I went out to breakfast.
Okay.
Then I got home probably about 2:30.
Oh, okay. You were driving the company truck? Or?
Yeah.
Okay. And what did you do Saturday during the day? Were you around town then, or?
Oh, Saturday during the day?
Yes.
What did I do? Shoot. Stayed home most of the day, I thought. Then I went and did. I think I did my laundry on Saturday. I'm not sure.
Okay. Then you went over to what? You went straight from your home, then over to the Lonesome Dove, or?
I went to Bucks about 8:39. Then I went over to Shades, and I went over to the Dove.
Oh, okay. And then that was pretty much it then, or?
Yeah, basically.
Okay. Didn't go anywhere else, or?
Oh yeah. I went over. I was up in north part of town there about 11:30 or so, and I stopped and I talked to Rob at the liquor store, and I ran into a buddy of mine. Then we left.
Oh, Okay.
Then I went back out to the Dove, and I think I got back out to the Dove about 12.
Oh. Okay, so you did know Robbie good enough then to stop in and talk to him then, or?
What was that?
You said you knew Robbie well enough to stop in and talk to him?
Oh, yeah, I was just up that way, and I heard Travis saying that he's working, and I haven't talked to him since, since he worked down at House of Bottles, so I stopped by and seen how he was doing.
Okay. How did he seem, okay, or?
Oh, he seemed fine. We were sitting there BSing, and a couple of my buddies came in and talked for a few more minutes, and we left.
Did you see anything going on around there that would make you be suspicious, or anything that looked like it possibly a robbery in progress, or being planned, or?
Not really. There's no vehicles around or nothing.
Okay. When you went over to your buddy's house, then where was that at? You said you...
He was over at a couple apartments, those apartments right behind there.
Okay.
I went over there with him for a few minutes, then I ended up leaving.
Okay. Who's that?
Steve, oh God, I can't think of his name.
Steve. Okay. So then where'd you leave after you left Steve, then where'd you go to?
I went right back out to the Dove and closed the Dove down.
Oh, okay. Do you have any friends up in that area, or?
Up in that area?
Yes.
Not really.
Oh, okay. Okay, so you went straight, did Steve, you drove the company truck up there, I understand, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you told me? Okay. And then, so, did you drive down to Steve's house then, or Steve's
No,
house?
I left the truck over at the store, then I went with Steve.
Oh, okay. And then he brought you back to the store then, or?
No, I just walked back to the store.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Because it was just parked right... I was supposed to meet some girls over at the apartments over by there. That's why I was over by the liquor store.
Oh, okay.
And I went back over there, and they weren't there.
Oh, which apartment are they supposed to be at?
Oh, I don't even know the address right offhand.
Oh, you don't know that?
Some girls I met on Wednesday night.
Oh. Okay, you met them right here in town, or?
Yeah, I met those out at Bucks.
Okay, you don't know their names or anything?
Like Lisa and her friend was Stephanie, I think.
Okay. Okay, you said if I paid you, that just paid your number, that it'll work and you'll give us a call right back?
Yeah.
Okay. And does your friend have an address, or?
I'll have to get back to you on that. I don't know what that is right offhand.
Oh, okay. What's the name of the company you're working for?
GVA Construction.
GVA?
Construction.
Construction. Where are they stationed out of?
He lives over in Clinton.
Clinton. That's, okay. All right. Okay, I certainly appreciate you returning the call.
Okay, if I can think of anything, I still got the number on my page, and I'll call you guys. And what is your name again?
Okay, my name is Fred, F-R-E-D.
Fred? Okay.
Yes, and then the last name is Wooten, W-O-O-T-E-N.
Wooten, okay.
And we'd appreciate that.
Yeah, if I remember anything or something comes up, I'll make sure I'll call you guys.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
My impression was that this was somebody who had nothing to hide, that he wanted to be helpful, that he was free to be contacted at any time. He was concerned about the situation. He was concerned about his friend and his former employer. I mean, he really laid it on pretty thick in terms of his overwhelming desire to be cooperative.
But something didn't make sense. Halverson kept thinking about what Stephen Kraft had told him. When Steve asked Shawn if they should go to the police and tell them that they were at the House of Bottles that night, Shawn had said no.
Just wait it out. See if the police contact you. And, you know, I remember that interview, and I remember the witness telling me that, and I was almost certain that his overwhelming desire to be cooperative on the phone with Sergeant Wooten, and then his telling his friend or his acquaintance not to call the police, not to tell them we were there. That was a disconnect that I couldn't resolve. You know, that really threw up a red flag.
Shawn Helmenstein was quickly becoming a strong suspect in the murder of Robbie Rahrich. Investigators knew they needed to sit down with him face to face, but where was he exactly? He claimed to be in Montana near Missoula, but there was no way to know for sure. The urgency to catch up to him was mounting. If Helmenstein was their man, they couldn't risk letting him slip away. At the same time, they couldn't just ask outright for his exact location. That might tip him off that they were closing in. The pressure was on to track him down without scaring him off. Maybe someone on the ground in Montana could sniff out Helmenstein. Here's Bob Haas again.
So Dick Olson, who was the chief agent in ND, or in the North Dakota BCI, knew a Montana Department of Criminal Investigations agent out in Missoula. So he called him and asked him to, I guess, look up information on, because we were told that I think Shawn was working for GVA Construction. And so Will Cords, who was the agent out there, was asked to see if he could find anything on GVA Construction so that we could have an address of where we were going to be going. And he did some investigation, couldn't find anything registered with the Secretary of State in Montana.
So there was no GVA Construction as far as they could find. Where the hell was Shawn Helmenstein? Montana? Bismarck? Somewhere in between? While agents in Montana kept working on honing in on Shawn Helmenstein, Bismarck PD wasn't about to put all their eggs in one basket. They kept grinding, making calls, chasing other leads. One lead took them back to FUBU Man, the suspicious figure in black who Reggie and Justin had followed from the area near the House of Bottles. They got a break when Bismarck's officer Thompson radioed in that he'd stopped FUBU Man near 1500 East Broadway. Detectives Syseski and Lundeen rushed over and talked to FUBU Man, whose name turned out to be Gary Strong River. Strong River's physical description matched almost perfectly what Reggie and Justin had reported. When questioned a bit, Strong River admitted he'd just been released from the county jail. "When exactly did you get out of jail?" they asked. "Friday night," he said. They helped Strong River into a cruiser and drove him to the station for questioning. They let him sweat it out for a few minutes in an interview room while they called his probation officer, Penny Bluesky, to get the lowdown. Bluesky rattled off his history, breaking into a car in 97, prison from September 97 to March 98, parole violations in June 98, more time in the pen, and most recently, a 90-day stint for drinking while on parole. If he was drinking Saturday night, Bluesky added, he'd probably run from the cops to avoid another violation. In the interview room, Strong River denied everything. Denied being involved in any murder, denied hiding in any bushes. He admitted he'd been out walking around that time Saturday night, but said he was just heading home from a friend's apartment. Finally, he gave in. All right, he said, slumping. "I hid in the bushes. I was drinking, and I didn't want to go back to jail. But I wasn't at the House of Bottles. I didn't kill anyone." With no real evidence tying him to the crime, no arrest was made, and Gary Strong River was let go. Word came out that a woman named Tyann had seen Shawn Helmenstein on Monday morning. They went to speak with her. She lived at the Ramada Inn and Suites. She told investigators that Helmenstein had stopped by to see her Monday morning. She thinks he said he was headed to Wolf Point, Montana. He said an employer there had wired him money for a bus ticket. He seemed anxious, in a hurry. He sure doesn't usually act like that, she said. Shawn Helmenstein had left a set of car keys in an envelope for Tyann. He explained that he'd been borrowing a pickup for the last few weeks, and it was out in the parking lot. The owner would come and pick it up in a few days. And then Shawn asked her to call him a cab to the bus station, and then he left with a duffel bag over his shoulder. What was he wearing, they asked her. A black cowboy hat and a brown duster coat, she said. Bismarck PD intensified their efforts to uncover anything and everything they could about Shawn Helmenstein, digging into his movements, habits, and relationships. They interviewed anyone who might have crossed paths with him, trying to piece together a fuller picture. As Detective Steve Lundeen worked his way through Chad Walker's list of employees, he asked each one about their time at the House of Bottles and specifically about Robbie and Shawn Helmenstein. Bit by bit, Lundeen learned more and more about the store and its dynamics. Notably, he discovered that Robbie Rahrich and Shawn Helmenstein had both worked at the South store before it closed, and that Shawn's mother, Dolly, had been the store manager. A former employee named Jeremiah added an intriguing detail. There were rumors that Robbie and Shawn hadn't gotten along so well at the South store. Robbie supposedly resented the privileges Shawn received from his mother, the store manager. As Jeremiah related this to Lundeen, he said, "Oh, you know, Shawn has a 9mm pistol, right?" The other employees that Lundeen spoke with offered a little more about Shawn's background. They did know that he came from Montana. He'd been in town for about a year and was a regular at local bars. What everyone seemed to agree on, however, was Shawn's passion for guns. Naturally, Bismarck PD was eager to determine what kind of gun had killed Robbie Rahrich, and whether it matched the weapons Shawn was known to own. The state crime lab provided a crucial piece of that puzzle when the results of the ballistics testing came in.
We were told that it was an Israeli-made pistol called a Baby Eagle, because there was a Desert Eagle and there was a Baby Eagle, and the Baby Eagle was a 9mm. And that this particular type of weapon didn't have lands and grooves in the barrel that would show up on a bullet. So the state lab had told us that they thought that this is what we were looking for.
They wanted to get their hands on a Baby Eagle to see what it looked like and do some tests to see what kind of slug a Baby Eagle might produce when fired. They did some asking around, and finally they found a family in Bismarck that owned one.
What we wanted to do was to borrow his handgun so that we could do some test firings, and it did confirm to us that that's the type of weapon that we were looking for.
Regarding their suspect, Shawn Helmenstein, the big looming question now was, does Shawn own a baby Desert Eagle? Then, DCI agent Cords from Montana reached out to Bismarck PD with the lead. He told them he had a possible location for Shawn Helmenstein, a small town called Clinton, just outside of Missoula. A decision was made to send Detectives Haas and Wooten out to Montana to team up with Agent Cords so they could try to track Shawn down. Shawn Helmenstein had no idea they were coming. Bob Haas again.
In fact, I didn't know about it until the day before we left, when I got a phone call at home saying that we're going out to Montana tomorrow, and we're flying out, and we're going to go out and talk, see if we can find Shawn and talk to him.
They didn't fly to Missoula, though, at least not all the way. Bad weather grounded the plane in Billings, forcing the team to change gears. They rented a car and began a long drive to Missoula. When, late that night, they crawled into Missoula at the end of a 20-hour day, they crashed into their motel rooms and passed out. Early the next morning, they met with Agent Cords and another agent named Link.
He said that we could drive out there and go to Clinton and go to the post office there and speak to the postmaster and see if we couldn't come up with an address for this construction company, GVA. And so we drove out there, and Agent Cords and I went in and spoke to the postmaster, and the postmaster said that he had no address. He didn't know any GVA construction, and then we asked him about a guy by the name of Guy Ask, and he says, well, I know of him, but he said, I haven't seen him for a while. But he said, his father lives there.
So, after they filled out the necessary paperwork, the postmaster forked over the name and address of one Carl Ask. And then, off they went in search of him.
We pull up to this trailer, and there was another trailer there, and there was a group of stuff. I mean, it wasn't a regular, I guess you could call, residential type of area. And we knocked on this door, and this lady answered the door, and we asked for Carl. And the lady said, he's around back. So we walked around to the back, and there was two gentlemen standing back there. I think they were chopping wood, and asked for Carl, and this guy says, that would be me. So we walked up and we introduced ourselves and told him that we were looking for Guy. We said, we're trying to find a friend of his, somebody that's working with him. And Carl says to me, he says, Shane? And I said, Shawn? And he says, yeah. And I said, that's who we want to talk to, is Shawn. And he says, well, he's in that trailer right over there. And he says, he's in a trailer right now.
Still yet to come in Season 11, Homicide at House of Bottles.
He just was that kind of caring person that really just cared about everyone.
Goofy smile, especially with his teeth. He had just kind of a snaggly smile, but it was always just a genuine smile.
And I don't have hate in my heart as a general rule, but I absolutely hate his killer.
I don't know what they're going to do with all my stuff, what they have in evidence. I'll find that out too, and because that has all my Western shirts, my good cowboy hat and stuff, and if I do get someone to pick that up, I would like to have all that stuff.
Those of you subscribed to Spotlight Plus can binge the entire Homicide at House of Bottles season right now, ad-free. If you're not yet a subscriber, join today for as little as $5 a month and unlock not only this season, but 10 other seasons available for ad-free binging. You can cancel at any time. Sign up in the Apple Podcasts app or at dakotaspotlight.com. Dakota Spotlight is written, recorded, and edited by me, James Wallner, and proudly produced by the Porchlight Podcast Network. I want to thank Mari Zorb Hansen of Madison, Wisconsin for her contributions on this season. Her dedication to research, interviews, and feedback has been a real asset, and her collaborative spirit has made her an integral part of the team. A sincere thank you also to Bob Haas, Lloyd Halverson, and the Bismarck Police Department for granting me access to review the files and materials from this case. And most importantly, a very special thank you to the friends and family of Robbie Rahrich for their support and cooperation in sharing this profoundly tragic story. Our deepest condolences go out once again to everyone impacted by this heartbreaking loss. If you'd like to stay up to date on the show, be sure to join the Dakota Spotlight Facebook group. For inquiries or feedback, feel free to reach out by emailing me at dakotaspotlight@gmail.com. That's all for now. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time.